Peace and black power, peace and black power, peace and black power. Peace and black power, peace and black power, peace and black power. Peace and prosperity. Peace and prosperity. This is the Few the Proud, the For Real TV. And right black at you. You know the rest. This is the For Real. The Few the Proud, the For Real TV. And you know I'm right black at you. All right, I hope how's everyone doing today? I hope everybody had a good, prosperous day. I certainly did, and I'm gonna say peace and black power with everybody. All my brothers and sisters around the world. This is the Few the Proud, the For Real TV, and of course I'm your host Raheem the Dream, better known as Top Cat, and nationally known, nationally recognized, and locally accepted. Okay. I'm gonna give a few shout outs. Give a shout out to the For Real team, and I'm gonna call them out by names. My brother Mike, my brother Ron, my sisters, Miss Elliott, my sister, Miss D Nice, and my cousin, Sandra, and my cousin, Drea. I Miss Sandra, cousin Drea, Miss Drea. I said Miss for everybody else. My cousin, Miss Drea. My cousin, Miss Drea. You heard me, cuz. My cousin, Miss Drea. Okay? Let me get that right. Okay. The topic for the night is brothers and sisters. Did you know? The topic for the night is brothers and sisters. Did you know? Once again, the topic for the night is brothers and sisters. Did you know? Okay? And this is Miss Elliott's topic. She's the co-host. I'm getting ready to bring her in 1 second here. If it's your first time coming to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell, and definitely thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. I hope everybody thumb up the video. Thumb up the video as you come in. And do me a favor, all my new subscribers, after you subscribe, leave me a comment in the comment section. All new subscribers, leave me a comment in the comment section. Okay? Peace of black power. Give a shout out to my main man, Sarnetta TV. That brother has some good topics. You understand? And he have a lot of good people on there that give you plenty of knowledge. Knowledge of self. Knowledge of self. Once again, this is the Few the Proud, the For Real TV, and I'm right back at you. Give me a second here. We're gonna give people time to get into the building, and I'm gonna send out. I'm sending this link out for Miss Elliott so she can come on in because this is her topic. So just bear with me for a second. Okay, I sent the link out to Miss Elliott. As I said, this is her topic, so we'll wait for her to get into the building. If there's anything else that anybody want to talk about till she get here, oh, okay, here she go right here. She ain't waste no time getting in. She ain't waste no time getting in. Okay, baby, what's going on?
Nothing. How you doing?
I'm unbelievable.
All
Unbelievable. And
right.
yourself?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, 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 okay. Well, this is your topic. How are you today, though? Everything good?
Everything is good.
All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna give you a solo scream and I'm gonna mute out and get the Instagram fired up while you do your opening. Okay.
All right.
And it's on you.
Okay. Well, it's been a while. Good evening, everybody. Of course, my name is Marietta Elliott, and I'm your co-host tonight. And I definitely have to first say thank you for last night, everybody that tuned people. The For Real team, we're awesome people.
You freezing, baby. You freezing. You freezing.
And it's probably
It's
because
the rain.
storm.
It's the rain. It's rain. It's the
Yeah.
rain. So I just want to let you know, but it's the rain. So we
Oh
probably
yeah,
gonna
because
be
I'm on my end is not frozen. That's so funny how that could be on the other end.
well. That's because you don't worry about it. Just go ahead.
Right. So is it okay now though?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I definitely want to thank everybody who tuned in last night. It was really nice. You guys are letting us know that you're still there. We're still going to do this, and I definitely want you guys to know how much we definitely appreciate you guys. And tonight we have an interesting topic. You know, I am so totally into self-evaluation and becoming more conscious of who we are as an individual, because that is the only way we are going to reach other people. And the way we present ourselves, as Ron spoke about last night, presentation is everything. And being here on the YouTube channel, I don't know all of my audience. I don't know their experiences. I don't know what they're going through right at this moment. So for me, on my end, I like to come across as if I'm totally interested in someone else's life. And I am. That's why I share my life, because I need people to know that you've had a road, I've had a road. We all are traveling the road. And if we're going to help each other, we got to present ourselves in a manner in which we are going to be reachable. I mean, I don't want to come across where someone's going to say, back off. So this is the reason why I chose this topic, because it's about self-awareness, and it's about something that, you know, people do and they're not even aware of what they're doing. And tonight I'm hoping that someone will tune in and maybe do a little bit of soul searching, or maybe just say, hey, that's exactly, you know, on point. So a lot of different emotions are going to be out there, and I'm hoping that, you know, the people who do have an opinion will come on in and share it with me, because also, as I've done in the past, if I get a comment that makes me feel like I need to address that because it's obviously important to that person. So that's another reason why I do some of the things that I do, because of how someone else may feel. And I think we should address how someone else feels. So thank you again. And tonight we're going to talk about, did you know? Do we know? And hopefully you guys are going to say, wow, that's interesting. Really interesting. Because I constantly talk about presentation and how we come across people. So this is going to be a perfect example of the impact on what we have done as a group of Black people. We all are not in that category, but for the ones that are in this category, we got to take a look at ourselves, and we got to do a reevaluation on where we have put other people in our lives. And some of the things that we have done have put people in spaces where they don't even know how to recover, especially when they're young. Especially when they're young. All righty. So.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, interesting topic. I mean, as Ron talked about last night, and I'm hoping Ron will come in. I hope that he is listening tonight, because he said a lot of things in reference to when people say things to him. You know, he processes it, and it has to make sense to him. And I'm exactly the same way. You know, it's a crazy thing, but logic plays a big role in my world as to how I operate. Yeah. And how I do what I do. You know, it's just, I need that to make sense to me in order for me to move forward, or even to hear, you know, just to hear what someone is saying. You know, in my mind, I got to say, okay, it's got to make sense. And I totally connected with Ron last night when he said what he said about conversations. And if it doesn't make sense to him, he doesn't even want to get involved in it, which is a good thing. So, so how do you feel about presentation?
Presentation?
Yeah, as far as how we present ourselves. As a team, as a Black race, as an individual.
Yeah. Wow. You know, presentation is everything. You know, presentation comes down to the way you talk, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress. You understand what I'm saying? Because what they say, you only have one time to make a first impression. Mm-hmm. You know, so presentation is everything.
Yes.
You know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's part of your presentation. Mm-hmm. It's planning. It's the planning stage. Mm-hmm. You know, just to leave out the house, you kind of know. Well, let me put it this way. I think it's certain age groups that kind of know. Mm-hmm. Because what I see out in the street today, you couldn't have planned that. You couldn't have planned it. You understand what I'm saying? You know, so presentation is everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, I know what you're getting ready to go into, you know, and as you know I am a yeller. I am a screamer, or whatever you want to call it. You call it yelling or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Because it seems like it don't compute to a lot of you people. Unless somebody's screaming and hollering.
Right. Well, see, that is the whole thing in a nutshell, is that, you know, we assume.
Right, I know.
You know, we're assuming that people are not getting it.
A lot of times people shut down, though, when you start screaming and hollering.
That's my whole point with this whole process of what we do when we're speaking to anyone, whether it's our men, our children, our moms, our dads. I am totally blown away with the way people communicate. And I try not to communicate in a bad way. But if I'm in a space where I am totally upset, I will warn the person. I will warn them that this is where I am. And we as people, we have to respect. That's a boundary that we have to respect. If a person is saying where they are, we need to learn how to back off and respect that. Because when you don't do that, there we are again, we're going into another area. In a space that we really don't need to be in if we only had that amount of respect. And you know, and a lot of this material that I'm talking about is based on the respect of who you are communicating with and how much you really need them to understand. Because when you get a person that's shutting down, interestingly enough, they will shut down every time there's a problem before you even open your mouth. They've already tuned you out. And that is not what we want to do as a Black race, because we're raising babies. We don't want to do that when we're, as a team, trying to get people to rethink the way they communicate and how they treat other people, because a lot of this is learned behavior. A lot of it is learned behavior. There are some people that will take that behavior into a different level. And then there are some people that will take that level into a level that is so broken so broken, and before you realize how broken it is, it's a little bit in the space of, wow, if I had only known, now what? So, and that goes back to the scars that women wear. You know, when you're scarred, you shut down, or you get angry too. And that is not where we want to be. We want to teach our young folks to respect one another, and we want to teach our young people how to communicate. And it is unfortunate that you have moms or dads who will swear at their children, and that is teaching them this is how it's done. And then they will go with their friends, and they will do that with their friends, and it just becomes the snowball effect. And I am hoping that once we go over this material, that our audience all over the world will stop and say, wow, this is the consequences, or these are the results of my behavior. And that is what we want to recognize, that problem, and we want to try to turn that problem away. By now, we're going to learn how to communicate, and we're going to be effective, and we're going to be consistent with how we communicate. And we are always going to try to find out how that person feels, because feelings has a lot to do with the way people react and respond. You know, some people can learn that love is rough. Love is brutality. Love is speaking in a hateful manner. And that's not what we want to do with our children, our family members, our co-workers, our neighbors. We don't want to do that anymore, because if we continue down that path, most definitely there is going to be more killing, because we don't have any respect for one another anymore, you know, and children are going to just continue to grow and pass this on to their children. And from generation after generation, you know, we talk about being the underclass, you know, just being able to communicate can put us in the space of being in the underclass, because now we're all enemies. We're all fighting amongst each other. We don't care about the next person. We don't care about our own brothers and sisters in our immediate families. And we got to somehow take a conscious look at our behavior and the way we come across. And I know that I'm a little bit harsh, but I am not harsh in a manner of swearing. I'm harsh in a matter of telling the truth. And I try to tell the truth in a manner in which my audience can respond and hear me. Because I want to always do that. Every time I come on, I want to be able to reach my audience. I want them to say, okay, I feel that woman. I feel her. She is saying something that I totally can connect with. And I am going to spend a lifetime making sure that is my position. And as we go through our lives as part of being the For Real team, we're going to carry that everywhere we go. We're going to carry that everywhere we go, so that people can understand, young people can understand that you can communicate differently, and you can communicate in a manner in which you can get what you want and what you need. So that's a big deal for me. It's a very big deal. So I know I say a lot about a lot of different things. Top Cat, where are you with this?
I mean, you pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
I mean, you know. Okay, right. Here go your dude in the house.
All right, Ron. Hello, everyone. I'm out tonight, but I am here listening. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hope you had a good day. Of course, I'm sure you did, knowing Ron. He had a good day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, you pretty much covered. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much covered it.
Mm-hmm. And all due fairness, I want the people in the audience to, Oh, my sister says good evening. Hi, Brenda. Thank you for tuning
Hey,
in.
hey.
Thank you so much, honey. I love you. And I want to be able to make sure from this day forward, we become conscious Black people. I think consciousness has gone from our race in a lot of different ways. And yes, we got some wonderful Black families. When I'm out and about, I like seeing the mom and the dad and the babies being pushed in the stroller and they're tagging along beside them. I love seeing that. And I know that it's out there. I know that it is out there. And for those little families that are out there, you know, I want them to know how to communicate with one another. Because sometimes a lack of communication can just destroy a relationship. A lack of communication and a lack of respect. Oh, my sister says she loves us both.
Love you too. So
Aww. That's so sweet. So yeah, I guess if you want to try to put this stuff up now, or you want to wait a little bit.
I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay.
I already got it loaded.
Oh, good. You are on point. So you're gonna make sure I can read it. You're gonna make it big enough and all that.
I got it. I already made it.
You were following directions today. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. The psychological effects of being yelled at. Being yelled at has significant effects on both the body and the brain. The psychological effects of being yelled at includes increased stress, anxiety, and depression. So you know what? This is a lot of material, but I really kind of want to go through it. I don't want to leave people out to go back and relook at it. So I hope everybody is going to be a little bit patient with me. Okay, so living with verbal abuse from parents, spouse, and loved ones can change how you think about yourself. Verbal abuse usually involves using psychological force to cause emotional pain. That said a lot right there. And I'm hoping that people are tuning in on those words. Okay, this article will provide an overview of the psychological effects of being yelled at and how to cope with them. Okay. All right. What are some of the detrimental characteristics of yelling? Yelling is a common occurrence in both households, and it's estimated that about 90% of the American parents have reported using harsh verbal discipline at least once. This tends to use psychological force to cause emotional pain and discomfort. The purpose of yelling is usually to control another person's behavior. Now, that is so true. And because that cowards people down. When you start to yell, it makes people cower down and shut down. And those are the things that we don't want to happen no matter who we are speaking with. Okay, so severe verbal discipline takes yelling to a new level, and more harmful it may include swearing, cursing, name calling, and insulting. This severe verbal discipline has been associated with conduct problems in children and adolescents. It may also lead to higher physical aggression, delinquency, and interpersonal problems. You should do this a little bigger because it's kind of fuzzy on my side. Can you?
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Yeah, because it's kind of fuzzy over here. I don't know why. Okay, so you can go up now. Okay, you go up some more. So, what do you think about the stuff that I have just read?
Some of it sounds about right. Mm-hmm. You know.
So what part sounds about right?
The way it can make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it like you said, it might cower some down, but where I come from, the more you yell, the more aggressive we get at one another. So, you know where I come from.
Okay, so you see that there's several ends of the spectrum.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying,
Okay.
because you know you start screaming at some people, like you say, I ain't gonna say they cower down, but they just shut down. I mean, I guess you can call that cowering down, but
Right.
you know, but where I come from, that was a normal thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Cussing and yelling was a normal thing. You
Right.
know, so it was normal. If you wasn't screaming and hollering, it was abnormal. You understand?
But at the end of the day, you know, what we consider to be normal has effects on you later on in life.
Of course, yes.
And
yes.
And when you think about people cowering down, we are teaching them to cower down to the world.
Right. But see,
not just that environment.
But where I come from, see, it made us more aggressive.
And aggressive behavior leads to gun violence.
Yes,
physical fighting.
Yes, no question at all. I'm telling
trying
you,
to find your place in life.
No question about it at all, because that's what it led to.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? It led to prison and death.
You know, when I ran across this material, it brought so much clarification to a lot of behaviors. And I'm hoping that there's going to be more clarification as I read a little bit more. So, yeah, you could go.
It ain't going to let me. Well, I got to go back to where I was. Hold up. Okay. Okay. Well, we stopped at the impact of community support.
No, that's not part of what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, right here. Okay, the psychological effects of being yelled at. There are several psychological effects of being yelled at, and they can vary by individual experience. Okay, so now we're going to talk about anxiety. Children who grow up in a house with frequent yelling are more likely to develop anxiety as an adolescent. This may be due to a higher level of stress they experience. So now, when we think about anxiety, I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can throw into that pot. And a lot of times anxiety goes to the classroom, and then they think that child is hyper, when in actuality, it's the emotional space that they've been put in due to the verbal abuse, the screaming, the yelling, those sort of things. So now we have something else to think about. Instead of that child being born ADHD, maybe it's just because of that environment. They don't know how to deal with and cope with, or even tell somebody, this is how I'm feeling. So now I'm becoming angry or out of control. I don't want to sit still. You know, I'm lonely. I'm missing something in my life. But they don't know how to say that. So the symptoms of anxiety may include frequent worries, withdrawing from social life, panic attack, and recurrent nightmares. Roll up a little bit, yeah. So now depression. Yelling frequently can lead to depression in teens. Studies show that when parents use severe verbal discipline on 13-year-olds, those children are more likely to develop behavior problems and symptoms of depression. So let's roll that up a little bit. So symptoms of depression may include low mood, agitation, sleep disturbances, fatigue, changes in appetite, and difficulty in concentrating. So all of this stuff can carry into the classroom. Our children need to have clear minds. They need to be able to be happy. and they need to have a space in their lives where they are happy. Our children are born to us, and it is our job to create that environment to bring on prosperity. And if you want to bring on prosperity, you have to start from the ground up. You cannot plant a tree and decide to prune it 20 years later. It's not even reachable. You got to cut that tree down. You got to cut it down. And those are the things that, we have to think about, this sleep disturbance. You got some children who can't go to sleep. That might be why they're up at night on their tablets or on their computers or communicating with somebody online that they shouldn't be talking to. That pushes them in a space of doing things that are not going to be beneficial to them, their peers, their classmates, their family. We got to think about those things. Even being agitated, sometimes children may not necessarily say anything, but they give us that body language. They give us that, and they're throwing their eyes up, or they may slam a door. Or if you ask them to do something, they do it as if they're angry. And those are the things that we have to pay attention to, or they want to just get out of their responsibilities within the household. So those are some of the things that we need to think about, the difficulty in concentrating. That could be a number of things. It could be a number of things just as far as going to school, getting their lesson, following the rules and regulations there, staying awake in class because now they're tired. There are a lot of things that go on with our young people, and they have no means of sorting it out and making sense of all of it. And as adults, we cannot put our kids in that position. I mean, I will go back to my nephew, because he's such a great young man. I've always had a great line of communication, and I've never yelled at him but one time. And he crossed a boundary that we had already set up. We had already set this boundary up. And the boundary was, I want the world to know, if we're ever having a conversation and you don't want to talk, you're okay to say to me, Amy, I don't want to talk right now. Can we talk later? And I will respect that. I will respect that. One particular day, I was talking to my nephew on the phone because he had done something that was very inappropriate. And I was talking to him about it. And then he just hung up on me. He hung up on me. And I went ballistic. He had never seen that side of me. Never seen that side of me. I got in my car and I got to my mama's house. I ripped open that bedroom door and I had to let him know, if we are going there, all kid gloves are off if you want to be in that space with me. And that was the first and the last. I hated to do that. But after all these years of having an open line of communication, he crossed over the boundary. He crossed over that boundary and I let him have it. And but by that time, he was probably 18, 19 years old. He wasn't a kid. But I did not appreciate that. And we fixed it. We're fine now. We'll be fine for life. But that was the one and only time I ever raised my voice at Christopher. So now let's get on with the stress. It's not surprising to learn that being yelled at is a stressful experience. God in heaven knows it is. Harsh verbal punishment leads to chronic stress over time. Yelling is also stressful for younger yellers themselves. Research shows that parental yelling can lead to behavior problems in adolescents. At the same time, adolescents who display behavior problems raise the risk of parents yelling to address the behavior. So, automatic arousal. People who frequently yell tend to be in a state of automatic arousal. Most of the time, automatic arousal includes the fight or flight response. For example, you may notice faster heart rates or shallow breathing. Studies found that children and teens who are anxious experience anatomic arousal. So that's something else we need to think about. We always talk about flight or fight or flight. We always talk about that. And this kind of brings a little bit of clarity as to what is going on within that kid. That for them, they may be thinking they're about to die or have a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? It might be so severe for them till they don't know what they should be doing. And we got to think about that, you know, and that's something that most of the time when we yell at a child, we don't go back later and say to that child, I am sorry, I yelled. I should not have done that. I need to learn how to communicate better with you and to accept my apology. Because when we do that with our children, we are recognizing that we've done something wrong. And that's what we want our babies to recognize, that they have done something wrong without someone saying to them, you shouldn't have did that. We want to bring on a conscious mind. We want our children to realize that they've done something wrong and try to do something to fix it. And that is something that, you know, when we're raising our children, we don't go back and say, hey, I shouldn't have never done that. I shouldn't have never said that. And I'm sorry. I am sorry. And we need to say it in a sense that our child is going to remember that it's okay to make a mistake and it's okay to fix the mistake. And that will help them become more conscious as they leave your home and go into the world, go into the classroom, go onto a job. You know, we got to get a conscious mind. A lot of these children out here, these teens out here, they're doing so much killing because the conscious mind is not there. They're not there. They're not thinking that this is actually someone else's baby or someone's brother. And I've talked about that before. This is someone's grandson. They're not thinking like that because they don't have that conscious mind to recognize you've done something wrong and it's okay to say you're sorry and to fix it. That is not a practice that we have. And moving forward with the For Real team, you know, I want to make sure these young people understand humans, adults, we make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And it is never too late to apologize for your abusive behavior or your embarrassing behavior. It's never, never, ever too late to apologize. Because when people apologize for their wrongdoings, that builds a bond between the two people. You know, I now start to feel safe with this person now. I feel safe now with this person because they're trying to rectify the harsh stuff that they have put on me. And that's what we want to do here. We want to do this. I think that's a very important thing to bringing our Black families back together, is that we as the adults, we have to take ownership in our stuff. And we got to make sure that we continue to take ownership in our behavior. I am not saying that we can't parent, but I am saying that the way we are parenting has been a cause for our children to be out there running amok. That's kind of like the core of some of these behaviors. So behavior problems can affect the behavior and emotional development adolescents, teenagers who are regularly yelled at. I think I read that one.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Like in my mind, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Okay, interpersonal problems. Being yelled at can lead to interpersonal problems from adolescents, children, and teens. Yelled at by their parents develop biased views of their parent-child relationship. That's pretty interesting. They tend to not trust their parents as much as other children do. Oh my goodness, yes. Just prior to that, I was just saying that adolescents with history of verbal abuse are more likely to be suspicious of and aggressive towards others. Wow. Interesting. So there is some confirmation to some of the things that I've been saying. We gotta take this. We gotta take this as a for real team, and as the world, and as the Black race, and think about. We got to think about this article. Okay, so now low self-esteem. When you yell at frequently, when you are yelled at frequently, boy, okay, it can affect how you see yourself. Adolescents tend to adapt negative views of themselves when parents use insults in their yelling. For example, if a parent repeatedly told you that you were lazy, and you will likely adapt this behavior about yourself. Wow. Okay, so now see, when we think about what we say to our children, we start to believe, as a child, we start to believe that that's exactly who we are. We're lazy. And that's not what we want, because when you think about laziness, lazy can be in all negative areas. I don't think lazy has a specific place, because if you're lazy, you're going to be lazy with taking care of yourself, your personal hygiene. You're going to be lazy with keeping your room together. You're going to be lazy with going to school and getting your lesson. You're going to be lazy when it comes down to doing things around your home as an adult. I mean, that lazy can be labeled with a person for life. So sleep issues common for those who are frequently yelled at, have problems with their sleep. Adolescents who are verbally abused report trouble both falling and staying asleep. Individuals who experience anxiety and stress are also more likely to have sleep problems. And the sleep pattern can be all off. Okay. And as we've always talked about, when you're not rested, you just don't make good decisions. You don't have any patience. You don't want to hear from anybody. You go out into the world, and if you're tired and someone just wants to say hello, how are you? Like you say, people give you the mean mug. You're always talking about the Black women mean mugging all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we got something to think about, some of these behaviors that we are encountering within our own race, and where we're out and about, even when it comes down to road rage. And some people are out there on the road just driving as if nothing else matters. They could be very angry. They could be very angry.
They are.
Okay. And so those are the things that, I'm hoping that this information is going to help people to now think about the people out there in the world and why they're behaving the way they are.
Shout out to everybody.
This is ground zero.
Peace and Black power.
This is ground zero.
Hope you listen.
So adjustment issues. Being yelled at over time can lead to issues with adjustment and attachment. Individuals subject to harsh verbal punishment at age 13 or more likely to develop conduct problems, depression symptoms at age 14. Yelling causes decreased self-confidence, which can also cause individuals to become less social. And, that is one thing, self-confidence is everything, because if you don't have self-confidence, as we want to promote entrepreneurship, if the person that we're trying to promote entrepreneurship with, and they have no self-confidence to begin with, it is going to be hard to see them leaving that job and going into their own business because they have the lack of confidence. So as we're doing what we're doing, we have to realize that we want our children to be very confident in themselves and their endeavors. We want that. And if we're not going to try to implement something different, the ones that we want to go out there and be that entrepreneur, if they don't have self-confidence, it is going to be hard to get them to envision being that entrepreneur. And that is all because of some of the parenting that we have done.
Yeah, well, see, with them kind of individuals, you have to have them around more positive people.
Yes.
That's how you can build their confidence. You build their confidence by putting them around people that's more positive.
Mm-hmm.
You take them around to business owners already. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And have them talk to business owners, because you'll find a lot of business owners, they was once there.
Right.
They had to build their confidence up to start their business.
Yes.
Everybody just wasn't outgoing enough to really just go and do it.
Right.
You understand? See, I always been that way because of the streets. The streets made me that way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So, all right, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so that's, what you're saying is very, very true. But at the end of the day, if this is something that has happened to them in a childhood, their childhood, some of that stuff is so deep rooted.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Deep rooted.
I agree.
Right.
But they may not be the one for a business. Because they might just be a worker.
Because we have scarred their self-confidence.
I understand that, but if you're talking about business, they won't fit then.
Right.
They have to pay another position. You understand what I'm saying?
But wouldn't you agree that that's unfortunate that this is stemming from childhood, the self-confidence?
Yes.
And that
I got a lot of things in my childhood. I went through in my childhood, but it was mostly in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Right.
You did some hell of emotional scars out there in them streets.
Tell me about it. I know. Okay? I know. That's one thing.
And I ain't talking about no yelling. Right. I'm talking about cracks upside the head and bullets in you as a kid.
Right. I know.
Okay? I ain't talking about just no yelling when I got home.
Right.
If I made it home, if I didn't have to go to the hospital first.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying though.
Well, then that's the truth. That is even like me having to read out loud. Like, I hate reading out loud. That is like the one thing I hate. But I'm a big talker. But I have never, ever, ever in my entire life liked reading out loud.
Okay, but look how you developing it now, though.
I'm trying to develop it. Yeah, but it's not what I want to do.
But what I'm trying to tell you, you're developing it, because when you first started doing this, you used to stumble more.
Oh, I still
now
stumble.
You're more smooth. You're smoother now.
Well, anyways, for those out there in the audience, this is what I've always hated doing. But at the same time, I have a love for our people that I'm willing to go through my stumbling and my embarrassment to get to someone else that's going to be saying, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. That's my whole thing. So physical health problems, in addition to the psychological harm, yelling, also leads to physical health problems. The studies have found that severe verbal punishment, like insulting a child, is linked to the increased risk of cancer, heart disease, and asthma in adulthood. Woo. Wow.
I never knew that.
Wow. But I know that as far as cancer is concerned, cancer really feeds off of your stress level. For some odd reason, there is something that happens with stress, and there's cells in your body, but they turn cancerous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of why they do what they do, is because, you know, the stress that we put on our bodies causes our bodies to not operate the way it should. You know, like when I had that episode with high blood pressure, physically they said there's nothing wrong with you, but whatever is stressing you out is going to take your life, no doubt about it, because of what the stress was doing to my wellness on the inside. So, and even this asthma situation, you know, I can clearly see someone developing asthma because of anxiety. A lot of time, anxiety can bring on asthma attacks and irregular breathing. Can send your heart into an arrhythmia because you're so stressed out. Those things can happen. So we have to be very careful with the physical health, because that's very important. And our children, you know, how often do children go to the doctors? You know, I mean, their first few years, of course, they have to get their vaccinations, but our parents taking their children to the doctor at least once every 6 months or once a year, just to make sure you know what's going on with them on the inside. And not, I mean, because a lot of stuff goes on the inside because of the diet and the lack of exercise. You know, we can let our children be walking time bombs for not getting them to the doctor as often as we could. That's something and that might give the child an opportunity to have a conversation with their doctor, to talk about some of the things that's bothering them. You might be able to step out of the room and tell your child, it's okay to talk to your doctor. I'll be right outside the room. And the child may communicate how they're feeling. And then the parent may be able to say, okay, this is how we're going to fix this. We got to try to fix this. Okay, so how does yelling affect the brain? Being yelled at can change the brain over time. For example, one study found that individuals who experience verbal abuse from their parents have increased amount of gray matter in the brain temporal mode. This area is responsible for communication, language processing. Changes in the brain region are also seen in individuals with autism. Whoa, wow. Okay. So there again, what we're hearing is affecting our brains. And you know, that brain is so awesome till it retains so much. I want to give an example of an experience that I have with a client who, she's not really my client, but she's in a facility where my client is. And she's, as a child, she grew up in France and she spoke French. But when she came here almost 70 years ago, she spoke nothing but English. So now that she's been here these 70 years and she has dementia, she now speaks French. She cannot speak any English. And for her to be able to have that still in her brain, I thought that was phenomenal. And she speaks it fluently. And she's in a space now where her daughter is really at a total loss because she can't help her mom. She has got several apps on her phone to do interpretations. She bought a box that would interpret the conversation, and some of her French is broken. So that's making it even harder to communicate and translate. And can you imagine how her daughter feels about, wow, you know, it's either, and she's trying to learn the language. She's trying to learn the language to communicate with her mom. But meantime, back at the ranch, her mom is slipping slowly further away from who she is. And that's an unfortunate thing. But that brain, you know, I've always known it was phenomenal. But it's even more phenomenal now. I've got a little bit of more confirmation on how well the brain obtains. And like when I was going through my stressful time in my life, I literally thought I was managing it. I thought I was managing it. In my mind, I thought I was managing it. That couldn't have been further from the truth. So when we start thinking about things that are put into our brains, you know, we always talk about the rap music in our brains. You know, it affects us the way we think. All of these things are in our brains. And in an indirect way, we start to act a lot of things out that we wouldn't normally be doing if these things were in our heads. So we have to be very careful in a lot of different areas, as I keep saying. Okay, so why do people yell? There are several reasons why someone might yell. Yelling is often used to control another person's or a situation. Yelling may be used as a discipline by parents, teachers, and coaches. Man, the coaches, you hear these coaches in their faces. In their faces. And that is something that, you know, is so inappropriate. And I never thought about it from this standpoint of view. But me as an individual, I could not take it. And maybe that's why I've never been in sports, because I could not take it. I mean, that would totally run me off.
But that, because see, you know, you have a certain respect for the coach. That's why he can do them things. It's almost, the coach is almost like your parent. You understand what I'm saying? So you accept it to a certain degree. Like, I agree with you that to a certain degree, depends on the language that they use. You understand what I'm saying?
So now they're living in fear. They got to make it happen.
Well, it makes you a better player. And
if it don't happen, they got to go.
Some of them, it makes you a better player.
Right.
If you know you're going to lose your position to somebody else and he yelling to let you know that you got to do this, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and sometimes it make you a better player because you know you're going to lose your position. So it makes you a better player. The pressure.
Yeah, and that pressure can go in an opposite direction.
Yes, it can, but I'm just
like suicide, for example.
All I'm saying is that you know that's. I'm just telling you from experience.
And that is one thing that, you know, we as a Black race, we can always find a way to excuse a behavior.
Well, I'm not excusing it. What I'm trying to do is tell you what you were saying, how, you know, the coach do. And I'm telling you why he do
this is in black and white.
Hold on.
That's the material.
Hold on. I'm not excusing it. I'm telling you why he do it. Okay? I'm telling you why he do it. That's all.
And that's it, and that is the reason, the excuse.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, if that's what you say, all right. It is what it is. I ain't gonna, you know.
Okay.
I ain't gonna go back and forth and start yelling at you.
You will be on a punishment. See, that's what I do for yelling.
I ain't gonna do that. So
I put you on a punishment.
Let's go. Because I'm pretty sure you probably got 100 comments.
Oh yes, right. Okay. So now
that's what I'm trying to tell you. You when you're doing your presentation, you can't make it a real long presentation, or you're gonna lose your people.
I know, but I really, you know what? And yes, I could lose my people, but I'm hoping and praying that these people are gonna still hear what I'm saying, and they're gonna zoom in on what I'm saying. So individuals may use yelling to try to assert themselves or gain attention. Research shows that yelling is rarely a single event. Most people who yell tend to do it frequently. Point well taken. Avoiding yelling at others. After reviewing all this harm, oh my God, that yelling can cause, you may feel ashamed, of any time you have yelled in the past. While all lose our tempers from time to time, it's possible to yell less. To avoid yelling, it is important to stay aware of your own emotions and notice when you're feeling angry or out of control. I will recognize mine. What I'm out of control, I'll say it. Okay, so when you notice these feelings coming up, try one of the following techniques. Try to listen more than you talk. Practice empathy for the other person. Speak slower and softer than you usually would. Make your expectations clear. Ask for help when you feel overwhelmed. So there you go. I don't think there's much after that. Because we don't really have to go into that. But it was just this last little bit, which is good. So yeah. I mean, I could go on, but I guess we should get to the comments.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know.
I had plenty here, and I definitely appreciate my audience with having some patience with me, because this kind of stuff really hits home with me, and sometimes we wonder why our children are doing what they're doing, and this might be a piece of it.
All right, there you go.
My sister Brenda says, true, I agree. True, sis. My sister says, true, sis. That's good. You took the words right out my mouth. The ADHD misdiagnosis. That's right. Yes. Yes. Okay, a diagnosis that our kids are frequently labeled as. Oh, yes. All the time. Okay, we got Booby. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
how you doing?
Up,
thank you for coming back tonight. Beautiful. Okay. Toni Morrison said, when children walk in a room, your children or anybody else child, do your eyes light up? Oh my God. That's what they're looking for. Oh, and that's true, right? We want our babies. Yes, we do want their eyes to light up. Yes. Okay. We do. Right. You might have, you are right, Mr. Muhammad, about the reading. Okay. Ron says, screaming is bad for children. Black people need to stop screaming. Yes. Thank you, Ryan. My sister says that's right, Ryan. Oh, my sister is in there tonight, ain't she? Typing fast. Good topic. Oh, boy.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you that covered a lot, because I know, I am I know things I've been through with my grandson. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because he could just make you go there. You dig what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing, as the adult, you cannot use that as an excuse.
I'm not using that excuse.
And you know what? I want to tell you this. I've been told that, you asked the question about children, getting high. And I've been told that they can't stop worrying. They can't shut their minds off. And marijuana helps to do that. And, that's that stress that the article was talking about. Kids turn to drugs. They turn to alcohol because they don't know how to manage what they're going through. And alcohol and drugs will bring them down.
Right,
help them to sleep at night. Help them to shut their minds down, to not worry so often about things that our parents should be taking the worry out of their lives and make things wonderful for their children, instead of having to turn to drugs to compensate for how they feel. And it's heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for me to hear a
The
child
few,
say
the
to
proud,
me,
the number 4
I
real.
smoke
Okay, the few, the proud, the
so
for
that
real
way I
TV.
can stop
Have a
thinking,
great evening. Peace and black
so
power.
I can stop worrying. And I thought about it, and I'm thinking, wow, how much do children really have to worry about? But after I read this article, I realized children have a lot to worry about. And it's about the environment in which we are allowing to be. We are allowing to be as adults. And I just want us to try to correct that behavior. I really do. I want us to try to correct that behavior. I really do. We have to, especially being part of the team. We are going to bring in people who have been abused. But we're not going to know that. And we may never know it if we present ourselves in a manner that we're just like what they're leaving. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what we want. So, our life experiences when our children or these young folks that we are going to be mentoring, I want us as a team to go in that we are starting at ground zero, and we need to find out who they are and what they've gone through first. So that way we can help get them out of that space and to move them into the space of productivity without those issues hanging over their heads. And that's an important thing. I want to do that. I've done relationships with children, black, white, green, purple, because kids need someone that recognizes who they are and what they've gone through and how they feel. And that's showing them some real love there. It's caring enough to hear their side of the story. That's a big deal. And we got to do that as a team, as a black family, as a black race. We have got to do that. Because feelings are everything. Feelings are everything. And I know you're always on me about the emotional side of me and my feelings. But at the end of the day, we have a world that we have because of feelings. Bad energy. Bad energy. If we, as a group of people, had more love amongst each other, we would be murdering each other. We would be helping each other like we used to do. We would take in a stranger that needed a place to live. There would be no homeless shelter. There would be no homeless shelters. And that's something that we have to work on. We definitely have to work on. I appreciate my audience. I really appreciate my audience. Yes, I definitely appreciate it.
All right, we about an hour in, so
as always, right?
I'm gonna let you do your closing and close on out.
Okay, my sister was sending me a text message. Okay. Just let me see right quick. Okay. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you do your close out.
Okay.
And you can close it on out.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone who tuned in tonight. I'm sure we have people in the audience. I have a young lady that I told her about my channel, and I'm hoping that she got a chance to tune in. And I told her if she didn't get a chance, she could tune in later or look at other videos, which would be just as nice. And because she has the background of a teacher, and she's a young girl, and she's a sweet thing. And she was telling me about her child, and how she is not going to let her baby be illiterate. And I think she said he was 3 years old, and she is on top of him. She wants him to excel in life. She wants him, when he walks into the classroom, he's ready. And I think that that's where her gift is being a teacher. And I would love to have her be a part of the team as well. So hopefully I'll see her over the weekend, or I'll see her next week, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation. And I just want her to know that I definitely appreciate her. And thank you for tuning in, everybody else. We're so glad that Booby came back. That was nice. And we'd love for you to say hello to your family, and I'd love to see your boys. I know they're like handsome, tall, successful kids, right? My sister, she definitely was on point with a lot of things, and I definitely appreciate how she was tuning in and responding. And Ron as well. So glad. So everybody else, whatever your comments are, you can always put them in later. Don't forget to thumb up the video. I will be thumbing it up when I leave.
Thumb up the video, thumb up the video, thumb up the video.
Right.
All right. Thank you for your presentation.
All righty.
And peace and black power.
Yes. You have a good night.
You have a good night, baby, and you can see your own way out.
All righty.
And I'm going to close the zone now.
Okay.
All righty.
Good night.
Good night. All right, all right. This is the Few, the Proud of For Real TV. And I think that was a great presentation, you know, because I know me, you know, I am a screamer. You understand what I'm saying? Yell or whatever you want to call it. You know, that's the way we come up. That's the way I came up. You know, yelling and fighting, and you understand what I'm saying? I come up that way. So, and yes, I kind of do it towards my grandson and, you know, kids, you know what I'm saying? So I have to check myself. You dig what I'm saying? You heard what I said, check myself, you know, but yeah, good information. I got some good information out of that. That was a good topic, and I got good information. Made me do some little thinking. You dig what I'm saying? Made me do some thinking. Gave me some things to put inside my vault, to put inside my vault, the brain vault. Okay, but this is the Few, the Proud of For Real TV. If this is your first time coming to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Tap that little bell, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell, and smash that thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And peace and black power. Share and subscribe. Share the videos. Share the videos to your social media and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Peace and black power. Everybody have a great evening. And we're out of here. Okay, Brenda, I got you.